Hello and welcome to the Wellness League podcast. I am your part-time host, Jenna, and newly appointed, self-appointed head of brand.
And my name is Ella. I'm also your co-host, but now pretty much your main co-host, but also non-nerdy IT head of production.
Nice.
So hang on a second, you're back.
I am back. I've been AWOL for
4 weeks?
we said 4 weeks, and I was like, no.
Yeah, been holding up the fort. It's
It's
okay.
been 4 weeks. Yeah, I'm back though. I'm back. And
I'm very glad.
better, bigger, ready to rock.
So how you been?
Uh,
So the last time you left us, we were on the roller coaster.
yeah.
I jumped off the roller coaster because I was holding up the fort. Did you stay on?
I have been holding on to the roller coaster with my hands, and the rest of my body's just been flying off. So I'm just been
Like
on
a
like the back
superhero.
carriage, just like, oh my god, like hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad you're back.
I'm here.
Good. So, what are we talking about this week?
So we went to a show last night,
It was good.
which is actually a podcast. Funny enough, my mum was like, "How did you go watch a podcast?" I was like, "It was a live podcast." So
Yeah.
it was the Imperfects.
With a bit of Hugh Van Cuylenburg and his brother Josh and Ryan Shelton.
Yes,
It was good. That's not what I expected for them to do.
yeah,
I honestly thought they would just sit there for the whole time and
and
talk.
be a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't record it in the way that they post it. So like a few of the other ones I've listened to, they do their stage show and then post it. I'm kind of glad they don't.
Yeah.
Felt
yeah.
like very unique to the night.
Yeah, I think it's then custom to the audience.
Yeah.
And different things will come up. So I think if you saw a show in Sydney, it'd be different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is cool.
It was good. So there's a couple of things in that as well that I wanted us to discuss today.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that we just hit 500 listens.
Woo!
Okay, well, I have to say, 100 of those is probably mine in the last 4 weeks. But, yeah, thanks for sticking around, people.
Thanks for listening. And hello and thank you to our listeners from France.
Canada, Italy, America, and wherever else you are in the world.
Yeah. I don't know how you were understanding what we were saying, but parlez-vous français?
Don't need a subtitle for that. Yeah, we're going well. It's weird to think, like a thought we had in the car one day is now turned into an 12 episode show.
3 months.
3 months.
Quarter of a year.
And we thought we weren't going to make it past 7.
What was, I think there was a certain amount of episodes that
Was it 7?
most people, I'm not sure.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Or past, at least 10.
Yeah. We're still here. I jumped off for a short period of time.
That's right, guys. I'm here. Got you back. You're still listening to my voice and it must be all right.
We had a week off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we were at a fitness event.
Yeah.
And then we had Meg on to talk about Hello Pilates
Yes.
and women's sport. And then we had Joe on to talk about burnout.
Yes.
And then last week we had Nathan.
Yeah. I'd love to go into some of the stuff that we spoke about, or you spoke about with Joe.
Yeah.
Because it also crossed over with what we did last night.
Yeah.
So I think we should talk about some of the life season stuff that you discussed there. And obviously they had it on the show in the Imperfects, and they discussed what life season they're currently in and what life season they wish they were in, things like that. So
not wish what they were in, it's wish they'd go back to.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
which is super interesting because you think back to life. And I often look even just through my Instagram.
Yeah.
And other people won't know this, but when you look at your own photos, you go, and it takes you back to that time and go, oh, that was that chapter. Like it fits into something else.
Well, yeah, you look back on my Instagram and it's all my travelling photos.
Yeah. And a very different season of life to where you are today, which is cool to see back, which I love Instagram for. And I think it's a good thing of social media.
Yeah, it's weird saying that because I was in the pool Friday, as I always am swimming. Anyway, I had this thought when I got in the shower that 5 years ago I was also swimming in the exact same pool on a Friday morning, but I was in a very different life season.
Yeah.
Before all this,
Same
going last night to
location.
the Imperfects, I wanted to talk to you about, like, how do you feel that you have changed? Not, obviously we've done a lot between us in 5 years, but how do you feel like you've changed, like, mentally? Like, do you feel like you know yourself better in the last 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you've felt like you've internally kind of grown?
Yeah. So 5 years ago, we got back to 2018.
That's when we met.
Yeah. Yeah. So that year was like fairly defining for me because I had always lived with housemates or a partner.
Yeah.
I went through a really shitty period of time during that, and I was kind of forced to stand on my own 2 feet, which I had never. I've always had that person.
Isn't it interesting that we were in the same life season then? Because I was going through the same thing.
And I moved into a unit. I was like, I need to be out on my own. I can't live with people. I was living with a random that I found on Flatmates. Hated it. I dread coming home. So I moved out on my own. I joined Body Fit. So because I moved so far away, I didn't have a huge circle of friends that were close by. And I was like very much transitioning from one life to another, it felt.
Yeah.
And created this circle of friends, and I started that nutrition coaching not long after.
Yeah.
And so I was able to have more money, which gave me more freedom. I was living on my own. I had a friendship circle. So it was like 5 years ago. That was kind of like a defining moment and changed. And the shitty time that I went through was kind of like the catalyst for change then.
Yeah.
And then since then, I guess I've developed over time. I'm probably more self-aware.
Yeah.
And I'm more understanding.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, of what I can and can't. I say can't do, but what doesn't light me up, what doesn't align.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there were things that I've done. Like I used to run fitness classes, and there was so much resistance in me. Like I dreaded running fitness classes.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about that the other day.
Yeah.
I was saying like I'd spend the whole day worrying about running these bloody classes. And now I just like, well, I just won't do that. Like it'll come up again. It's like, well, that doesn't actually, sort of like have the knowledge to go, that's not me. I know what lights me up. I know what I enjoy, and I'm able to just own that.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we met, like isn't it interesting? So I was going through a similar thing. Like wasn't loving the job I was working in. So I was studying at uni. The job I was in was like I was still working in the fitness industry, but I don't know, it just wasn't the place for me. Like I was the opposite. I loved teaching the classes because I knew that like the boss at the time couldn't see what I was doing, but knew that I could deliver in that. But it was kind of one of those controlling workplaces where he would like look over the cameras to see what we were doing, and that's just not comfortable. And so then that a part of a lot of other things were happening in my personal life, and then I ended up moving out of home, quitting that job, and that's when we met that same week. But like it seems like that we both had that same year of making change and moving to a different house or location, and how that changed us both for the better.
Yeah.
And then you hired me, and that was 5 years ago.
And just going back to the bosses looking over cameras, what is with that? If you're a boss and looking at employee, I don't think you're meant. I don't know the actual laws around that, but I believe that CCTV and cameras can be in place for like security purposes.
I get that. Yeah, I
don't think that you're allowed to put cameras in for monitoring employees. I don't know, but I feel like that's a bit of a murky area. So please stop doing that.
Yeah, that was
It does my head in.
Like how controlling have you got to be to watch somebody clean mirrors? Like,
and it's such a power dynamic because, and especially for young people.
Well, that's exactly what
they just accept it.
Yeah,
like, stop.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah. But it makes you feel unsafe being the person while you're working and knowing that somebody's watching.
It's creepy. And it's like micromanaging. And I just...
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah. There's things that I think back to past jobs when I was younger, and it's like, why did I not say it? Why did I stay around and accept those things, that it was like dodgy conditions of whatever they were? I don't know. What kind of operation are you running here, people? Like,
yeah.
Have some integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, hey, what people used to get away with. I feel like now if you've been through something like that, you know the signs and you get out of it.
Yeah. Especially like bigger companies, they can't risk. They have to do things properly because it's too much at stake. Yeah.
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 We were talking about life seasons. What's your definition of a life season?
See, I feel like I have many seasons in a year. So
Right.
asked ChatGPT last night what life seasons were, and it kind of gave me the definitions of, say, childhood, which would be years and years and years. But I'm like, I have probably multiple life seasons in 1 year. I don't know if that's maybe more of a chapter, but well, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your definition?
Oh, I've always thought, like, ever since I've heard people talk about it, say a life season is something like, so your childhood, like your studying is a season. Then when you leave school, it's either
Mm.
uni season or like your young adult. And then you get into your career season. Then you get into like your family season.
Mm.
And then once that's kind of like, I guess seasons can intertwine, like you were saying. So you can have your career and your family season at the same time. But then you go into the season of, I don't want to say your oldie season, but like your season when the kids have moved out and the freedom season.
Yeah, I get that. But then that is a very
defined kind of.
These are like, this is the next step. Whereas I see my seasons more like, well, this was a big self-development season. Oh, and then
Like the chapters, whereas mine are you seeing as like individual books.
Yeah. And then I might have a season where I'm like, well, this was a big hustle kind of season where I was very like, doing a side business and working and like things like that. And then I might have a different season that was, well, then I really had to pull back and it was kind of like my mental health season.
Right.
Through.
Yeah, I see. You just, obviously some like chapters where, my seasons are, I just see them as a one big thing. Like a lot happened in a lot of.
But I'm very driven by emotion. So my seasons can be controlled.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
We're controlled by the flow.
Controlled by the emotions. And so I'm very like sensitive to things. So then that can change or something else will happen and I'll go through a period of time where it's like my focus and maybe my priorities shift on different things.
Yeah. So I don't think mine change as often as you do. So that's hence why the longer seasons are longer than say a couple of weeks or months. Mine are almost blocks of years.
Yeah, right. Whereas I'm like Melbourne and I have like how many
10
seasons in a day? Yeah.
So talking about seasons, is there a season that you wish or a chapter in your life that you would love to go back to and relive, or a part within a season?
So I had a great time and season of my life. So I moved with my ex-partner to Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's not because my ex-partner, I miss him or anything, but just the chapter of life that I was in. I was probably mid-20s.
Like, so my age?
Yeah. He was away quite a lot for his work.
Yeah.
So I'd moved to like a new town and it was like a self-discovery kind of time, and I was really getting into self-development and setting up like some fitness type businesses and things like that. So it was really a nice time to work on myself, and that's probably like a really selfish way to look at it, but the focus was all on that. Like, and even with the partnership, like with him being away, there was no distractions, and I felt very like aligned to what I was doing. I was enjoying what I was doing. I was enjoying the people I was meeting. I was exploring, learning new things. Again, I guess because I was in a new town, your mind's expanding, like new places, new things. You might go for a beach walk, but you're in a completely different state, a new beach, and it's like so exciting.
And you're on a different side of the country, so the weather's nicer.
The weather was nicer. Winter was definitely milder, and
yeah,
the sun rises on a different side of the sea than it does here and all of that stuff. So, and yeah, just meeting new people. And I think I was in a bit of a down kind of season when I was here in Adelaide and just sort of like, ugh, same. Like I just feel like it was after competing. I'm just stuck in this cycle.
Yep.
And moving was like the best kind of like
refresh.
Refresh. Yeah. And I loved it. I was very fortunate that I didn't have to work an awful lot. So there was the pressure that I had to be like, I'm stressed because I moved to somewhere without a job or anything like that. I was fortunate that like I was supported. So I had that. But then because he was away for work, I was almost left to my own devices. So I had the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So it was a really like fortunate position to be in.
What did you feel like that you learned? So you're talking about your self-discovery there. What do you think you learned about yourself? Or
I think improved on my relationship with myself, my body. So when the time in Adelaide, that was the post competition. It was probably like a year after that, and I couldn't get out of this binge eating cycle. I felt very stuck in this like competing bodybuilding gyms, and that's what people were all about, and that was my circle here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really escape it. I felt like I was just in it, and I didn't want to be, and I didn't know what to do. And even things like going to the shops, it's just this, it's when you move somewhere, it's so exciting. Oh, it's a new Woolworths.
Like, the aisles are different.
The aisles are different, and it's a different kind of vibe, and no one knows me, and I can be whoever I want.
And the snack aisle is better.
And the Coles in Newcastle was open 24 hours.
No, I don't even know what that is.
So you'd go out on a Saturday night, be like, have some drinks and that, and you'd be out, and then I'm hungry. Well, let's go to Coles and we'll do a cook-up rather than
Macca's. In Adelaide open is the bakery on Old Connell Street.
Yeah, and McDonald's. Yeah. So that was really cool to like experience.
I saw somebody's Instagram story who lived in a different state the other night, and it was like 9 o'clock Saturday night, and she was like, food shopping because I can. I was like, can't here.
Even the Woolies was open to midnight, and then the Coles, 24/7.
So weird that we're so far behind in SA.
The Kmart's open 24/7, I think.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. I had a friend who I met, and she'd gone there like middle of the night sometimes, sort of like, I'm going to go get some homewares. And yeah, that was a really fun time. The relationship was it was super supportive. Yeah. I wouldn't have a bad word to say about him now either. So unfortunately, like we just sort of drifted apart. But
he didn't follow you into the next chapter.
He didn't. And I left and came back to Adelaide, which is a really, really tough time as well. But I mean, here now, and
now
life would be completely different if I hadn't have done that as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nice.
What about you?
I was waiting for you to answer.
You're like,
is she
thinking
gonna
of
say?
What's your life season that if you could have the chance and go back to, you'd relive?
Oh, I think my late teens to early 20s. So I was at uni. It's not the part that I don't miss uni at all. I hated studying and staying up till like 3 a.m. making models. But it was a part that I would push so hard. I was working 3 jobs at the time. But then I would take a break every 6 months. I was traveling overseas. And I went to like India, went to New Zealand, Bali. And then the end of that season, so the end of 2019, I did the big Europe, America trip. But there was just something about working so hard, but knowing that you had a goal to reach, and once you got on that plane, it would be fine. And you'd go and travel the world, run wild, and then come back, reset and do it again.
Look forward to.
Yeah, just having that point. But you know what's crazy? Every trip that I went on, there was like a defining moment. Like we either did a hike if I was with a group, or I'd sit in a corner of a hotel room overlooking the city. Like I remember I was in Singapore on a uni trip, and I had to stay back a couple of days to get the grants or whatever.
Yeah.
I just remember sitting in front of the window overlooking the city, and I literally just started crying. And it happened on every trip. There was a moment that I mean, like, I'm pushing myself so hard, and then I'd kind of like get up and then go again until the next holiday. Yeah. So yeah, I just miss traveling a lot. I think I wish I could go back to that. I don't want to go back to uni though. Yeah, I think I miss having that much money rolling in and being able to escape when I wanted to.
Yeah.
And easily.
And up and go.
Yeah, and just the part of planning it was quite exciting. But yeah, I wish I could just go back to that. Although, like saying back then, wouldn't want to go back to the mental side of it. I feel like I'm much better now.
Yeah.
But then I was at my fittest and the skinniest too.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah. What's the life season you think you're in now?
I'm in a bit of a transition phase, I would say.
Oh, yeah? So you're writing a new chapter?
Yeah. So
What are we calling it?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good name.
You said a
I'll
good
come
one
back to
last
that.
night.
I think it was
The
nesting.
The nesting chapter.
Very much a nesting.
She's not pregnant, guys.
No.
Not that we know of.
No, not pregnant yet. So, yeah, I think that I'm 36. There's a biological clock.
Yeah.
Last year, I wasn't in a great place in my relationship, but it was kind of like a catalyst for change, and I don't think we've been in a better place.
Now?
Since like we haven't been in a better place than we are now. So because of, I guess, the shitty times that we went through,
Yeah.
it kind of forced us to like own our own shit and communicate, and we're like closer and communicate better than we ever have. So we've gotten to that stage now. It's like, well, what are we doing with this relationship? Where are we going with it? And it's
what's
sort of
next?
like, looking at, okay, if we're planning a family, like, we need to think about that potentially soon because of my age.
You know, isn't it annoying that, like, say the women have a biological clock, but a man can have a baby up until he's like 80.
Yeah.
Or do you know what I mean? Like, they don't have to stop their 30 seconds of work.
Yeah. So we're sort of like looking into that, seeing where I'm at fertility-wise and planning, the next couple of years would be potentially like starting a family. So
how exciting.
I'm thinking about things.
Can I be Auntie Ella?
Yeah, Auntie Ella has a good ring to it. I'm sort of like thinking, okay, so next sort of 2 years where I'm at, and it also like does bring like, oh, I want to travel and I want to do this and this, and it's like, but I mean, it's not the end of your life. Just think of that as well.
Just think in 18 years' time when that child grows up, you can leave them at home with the dogs and the cats.
Yeah, they can look after
your
my
farm
pets.
of animals, and you can go traveling the world.
That's it. Yeah.
So you might not have your travel season now, and it might just come later.
And I think, like when I think of, so for example, Christmas this year, and my brother's going to be away with his partner, so it's really just going to be like me, mum, dad, my partner, and like we might do something with his family, and it will change it completely.
Yeah, once you bring a child in.
Yeah, it'll bring back the magic into Christmas.
Yeah,
which is kind of faded out a bit now.
Yeah,
yeah.
Interesting.
What's your life season?
I think mine's like very so in the career life season. Like I have so many goals, as I've said on previous episodes of that. It's pretty much just the hustle season. Just get through. I'm kind of like setting the foundations to where to go in the future at the moment.
Yeah,
like with my career, and in terms of, I don't know, like I don't want to say the dating life, but yeah, like I on and off with that.
You're ready. You're open.
Very open to it.
Yeah.
It's just I don't have the time and the capacity to have it at the moment. But yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Instead of sleeping with a sausage dog.
I think like if you're open to it and the right person comes along, you make the time.
Like I'm getting to the stage I'm starting to get, sounds bad, but jealous of friends who like I can see them starting to have not you, because I think we're so close, but like people I went to school with, and I open my Instagram and stuff all the time, and they're either getting engaged or having babies, and I'm like,
I want that.
Yeah, I want to be that person.
Yeah.
But then I think they don't own a house and they don't have a sausage dog, so.
Yeah. And I think, like, I was saying, like, with the time and things like that. Like, so when I met Alexis, he works a lot of shifts. So, it would be like times that we couldn't. But I remember I would stay up and then be around his house at midnight for when he finished work.
I remember that,
to make time for it. There was no way I'd do that for just anyone. It's like sleep is like so important to me. I don't sacrifice.
But I feel like that dating season is where you have to do stuff like that so you can spend time with them.
Yeah, and I think now we're going into dating. We're like it's complete tangent, but people these days are not willing to make sacrifices in their life and changes and go, this is how I live if you don't fit into it. And then the other person's like, well, this is how I live and you don't fit into mine. Yeah,
I'm very much finding that.
And it's like it's never going to work if
I understand that I have a very busy lifestyle, but there are lots of free time that I'm happy to, do you know what I mean, share.
Yeah.
And I think it's just got to be the other person to understand that, yeah, it does look from the front that I do have a lot on.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of room to move things around too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, like if you met the right person, I always be like, I'll say, if you met Chris Hemsworth
Yeah.
and he said,
He's not that attractive though.
well, someone you find attractive,
Oh, come back to that.
someone that, you know, amazing.
David Beckham when
If
he
David
was
Beckham
25.
Hey, Ella, I really want to be with you and be in a relationship. You wouldn't go, I'm really busy. I don't have time for you, David. Sorry. No, David.
I'd be like, hang on, let me just get a trainer to cover my class. I'll be there later.
You know
No. Or I'd be there after 8 p.m.
You know that sound effect?
Ew, David. Ew, David. Ew, David. Oh my God. Ew, David.
So what, am I going to be like that? You know, I just had a funny thought. Imagine if we started the Wellness League pod dating find Ella a husband.
Farmer wants a wife, but we could be builder. What is your job title?
I'm an interior architect. Wants a
That's too complicated.
busy girl. Wants a husband.
Busy girl wants a husband.
The
can have all these
TWLP.
people. Come date with us.
And we'll have a fast dating night
Yeah.
for people in between, what should we say, mid-20s to mid-35s and the odd sugar daddy involved. Just as an option.
You could.
Yeah.
Have them sit here and we could record it.
I know,
and
I
be
don't
like,
think they can come straight in. They've got to, like, make the cut before they come into the studio.
Oh, so they have to like audition.
Yeah. And you know what?
I could audition.
What if, I was just going to say that, they have to pass the best friend test before they come to me.
What would I ask them?
Are you fit? Is another.
Are you fit?
Or do you have interest in fitness?
Yeah.
Because that's, I couldn't take.
It's important value.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
Ew, David.
I want to say, what's your like top 3 values? Are you supportive? Your communication good? Yeah. Are you good in bed?
That can be trained though. That's
True.
That's like not a behavioural thing.
What's your
teach
size of
this.
sausage? And do you like dogs? Because if they didn't like her, that's a no.
Yeah, see, my
If they didn't like,
ex was allergic to pets.
no,
Not
David,
pets, dogs
Ew.
and dogs and cats. Even to the point like we were in the elevator in our apartment. If a dog had been in there before and it smelled a bit doggy, he'd get a bit like itchy.
I hate like the extra dog smell, and like I
Yeah.
clean the house, it doesn't smell like that. But if they didn't support Sadie being in my life, no, I'd take
they're out.
Sadie any day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have to share that value, the love for the doggos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all they have to meet.
Cool.
They have to be career driven as well, like as in have life
Motivated,
goals.
ambition.
Yeah, have life goals and not want to sit on the couch all day.
Yeah, doesn't matter what they do, but as long as they've
And
got.
you know what? Hate men who are big drinkers at the moment who will go
Yeah.
out and party on a Saturday night
I've
and
never
ride
liked
off.
that.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's a bit gross. Stop it, please.
You can have a couple of drinks under my supervision, but I would not be picking you up.
No, it's gross. And they smell. The breath smells like that smelly alcohol. And
That's
you're
what you have a spare bedroom for, to put them in.
like, gross.
All right. And then on to the season where you'd like to be. What do you see in your future?
Oh gosh, where I'd like to be.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, is that the baby season?
It's an unknown.
Yeah. Don't you have a picture in your head, be like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
be there?
I have I can romanticize it and be like, I want to be a fitness mum, you know, being fit, I want to be able to and I want to have a girl because I want them at an age where I'm teaching them all my things. We're going to meditate together. We're going to go out on hikes together, brunches, Pilates,
You're doing
a mini me.
You could. Oh, can you imagine how cute that would be, though?
Yeah. And, I remember when I was little and just watching my mum do her makeup and playing around with makeup and stuff like that. That's what I sort of see, to have someone and that bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea that I have.
Do you see the marriage season coming soon as well around the baby season, or you're not too bothered about that?
Yeah, so I guess that's a next step, but it's never been like,
A huge thing in your mind?
yeah. I actually think I'd be more likely to elope than have like I'm not a big,
Can we run
Party.
away to an island and
So-
have like an elopement?
this is what I've been
I'll stand
talking
next to
about.
you.
Like, as an introvert, why would I have a big party? I don't like parties.
Yeah.
I don't like a wedding is a party.
We could
I
have
don't particularly like alcohol.
an all-you-can-eat elopement sushi party.
And like it'd get to 9 o'clock and I'd be like, can
Bedtime.
you guys go? Like, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. It'd be my own wedding. And then all the money that goes on to having
I
a
agree.
party when I don't like parties. No.
Oh, there's a part of me that likes a good party though, but I hate being the center of attention at it. Like I can remember my 21st, good night. I got really drunk and I remember doing my speech and I got everybody, anybody who's listening who was there, do you remember all doing that? You were there.
I was there.
I got everybody to do squats and burpees.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
good competition. Oh, it was so funny. I just remember at the end of the night, went down the slide and I had like carpet burn all up my ankles. And then the next morning I flew out to Singapore for a uni
Oh,
trip for
God.
2 weeks.
Did you feel well in the morning? Or you were all right?
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I remember I had a hot chocolate at the airport and got on the plane and it was great. And we kicked on for 2 weeks drinking.
Mm.
Other than doing what we were there for. But
There's times when I've gone out drinking that I'm like, oh, that was a good time at the a ball for a certain partner's work. Went to like this ball and it was in Sydney. Went the casino and I remember like I was hungry and eating like Mexican with my hands and it's like that was a good time.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think now I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, I would just like probably want my closest like 50 to 100 people there. But done by 9.
Jesus, that's a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
when
people.
you start thinking, right, your family,
I don't have that big a family.
well, your partner might.
no.
Well, lucky you.
But my partner does not. And a lot of his relatives, I guess he doesn't know,
Oh, that's lucky.
and they're in Greece.
Even, well,
Santorini wedding!
here we come. So my life season,
Yes, I could ask, where are we at?
I
We're
don't
like
know,
on
we
some
were just-
random tangent.
It's so funny.
So, what life season would you like to be in?
Well, I think as I was saying before, I'm sick of seeing all the Instagram babies. I think I'd love to be in the baby have a partner season.
Why don't you just go, screw over, like, fuck the partner. I'm just going to go adopt
Well, I
the
do
baby.
want to.
Just go adopt the baby.
Yeah, but I don't have the money to do that.
I guess.
I have a mortgage instead. I have a, if I could, I don't know if I would do that or not. I think I've always
If you
wanted the partner.
If you got to a certain age,
Oh, shit, yeah, then I would do it.
then would you be like, I'm just not going to have kids? Or would you?
No, I would be the opposite. I'd go and have kids
On your
without
own.
the partner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what age that is, but it would probably be like
40.
before that. I don't want to be a geriatric mum.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be at, there's a certain limit that you'd be like, I want
Yeah.
to have a kid and the person hasn't come along. So,
Well, then you
I'd
turn
get
to
a
a sugar
donor.
daddy dating app and then you get the baby.
would you get a donor or do you adopt?
Nah, I want my own.
So
I
you
get like
donor.
a hot Norwegian
Norwegian.
donor. Haven't you not seen, Katrina Gorries? She's like a Australian soccer player. Anyway, she got a
Oh.
Scandinavian IVF. Like, oh, her kid is so
Scandinavian.
cute.
The like blonde hair, blue eyes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go something like that because apparently they have a really good pool of sperm.
There you go.
Also, last night at the Imperfects, when they were talking about imposter syndrome,
With Dr. M.
I was so happy that I said to you at the start of the show when they had 4 seats out there, I was like, hang on a second, there's only
only three of
three
them.
guys who do the show. I said, if Dr. M walks out, I think I might cry.
Yeah.
And she did. I didn't cry. But she was talking about imposter syndrome and some of the stuff that came out really hit home for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. She talked about, I guess, imposter syndrome is that feeling that something that you're doing, whether that's a career or whatever it is. For example, we'll use the example of a job, but you just feel like you don't belong, that you're a bit of a fraud, and that your colleagues, they're going to realize at some point that you're not good at this job, or you're a fraud, and
but
you
this
shouldn't
is all
be
in
here.
your head at the
It's
same
all in your
time.
head.
She did say about where imposter syndrome came from. It was made up by, was it two ladies in the 1970s, late 1970s? But she did say about the part of it being a syndrome, and it shouldn't be one because it's
experienced by everyone. It's an emotion.
Yeah.
It's not a syndrome. Like, it's not, calling it a syndrome pathologizes it. So you sort of think of it as I guess, a condition.
Yeah, or like a disorder.
Yep. But it's an experience. It's an emotion experienced by everyone. Like, everyone, it's not like people will have it at all stages of life and all different people.
And the part where she was talking about, it's kind of like having your inner self, or like sitting next to you with a story that they're feeding you, and how that can really play on your mind. And also, if you think about it enough and it starts to affect you so much, it also leads to like burnout, because it's such a mental challenge to kind
Mental
of
load.
keep that down and focus.
And she gave 2 examples of how people will react in relation to imposter syndrome. So you'll have people that will go, I feel like I'm a fraud, I don't belong here, and they will just, they won't do it. They'll play small, they'll quit, they'll say no, they'll walk out. And then you'll have people who overcompensate, and that's where I think Ryan Sheldon mentioned that he
tries to be super funny in the room and makes up for
overconfidence and like pretending in a way, like trying, or he feels like he's pretending and trying to put on an act to prove that he does belong, I guess.
Yeah, which one are you?
Definitely the play small. I'll just, if there's a situation where I think, oh, I'm not good enough for this, this is not, I don't belong here.
Do you have a memory?
People are going to see that I'm a fake. I don't, I don't have the skills, I don't have the confidence, whatever it is, so I won't do it.
Do you have a defining memory when you can think this happened in the last, maybe in your career, or you don't have to say who you're working for, but
in a career, or sort of like, I feel, I'm like competing, I definitely felt like
you weren't good enough to be there.
I didn't quit though, but I remember on stage, I remember feeling like this is going to expose me, and people are going to see that I'm not meant to be here, that I'm not a fitness competitor, I'm no good at this, I don't look good, all these people look way better. I still thought that on the whole stage until another girl, Bianca, came out when I'd jumped. She's like, oh my God, you look so good, I think like you're going to win it. And I was, in my head, I'm like, well, I screwed that up. People are going to see now. I just need to get out of here. I need to go home after this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never coming back to this again. Like, obviously, I've stuffed this up, and people can see that I'm no good, and I'm probably just going to come last place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I feel like the very opposite. I don't know how I do it, but I feel like I have to compensate by being, I don't know, like happier or more bubbly in the room. I think I'm not sure if, I think I've always done it, but like at the moment, I feel like I'm not doing it on purpose, but like when she was talking about it, I was like, I feel like at the moment while working in a male-dominated industry, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't be there. You don't see many women working in builders, and like I feel like I'm a part of the company, but like that's not the bad thing. But sometimes like when I'm working on projects, I'm like, I don't think I should know all this. And if I'm delivering a project and I'll go and tell the big boss about it, like I'll think about it so much in my head before I walk into his office, and then
sort of
half the stuff doesn't come out.
Are you thinking, who am I to say this?
Yeah, like
they're going to be like, why are you saying this stuff? You don't belong here.
Like I feel like I'm making up the building rules, and how do I shouldn't know all this stuff, and it's interesting.
Is it like you feel like you're not allowed to know, like not have that, or have a place almost?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It's not that I don't feel like I shouldn't have a place, but I think it goes back to always being told, I think I have a memory of always being told, like, you'll never make it to your career because you're not smart enough. When in those situations I was smart enough. I just wasn't applying myself because it wasn't interesting. Do you know what I mean? I think I was told that so many times by like teachers in high school and stuff, being like, you'll never get there. But now I'm like, well, do I still listen to what they used to say? Like, I've proved them wrong, that's great. But how do I feel now?
Yeah. I think
Like
for
I'm
me,
here.
growing up, I think similar to what Ryan shared last night, is his parents trying to be realistic and give him advice, but say things like, only a small percentage of people can do that.
Yeah.
And it's not really you.
I remember my mum saying that to me when I said I wanted to go and be a trainer. Like, when I was applying for my course, she goes, that's not a real job. Like, I said, I only want to do it while I'm studying. She goes, is it worth all that study to go and be a trainer on the side? And, like, you'll never make it big.
Yeah. I remember my mum mentioning that because I'm quiet, shy, and it's been constantly drilled into me that you're all quiet, you're shy. It's become a belief that I need to unbreak, like that. Because I guess back when trainers were around, it was Michelle Bridges.
And
so
they
you
were
need
so
to
out
be
there
like
and
this
We're
drill sergeant.
Yeah, like
you're not like that. You're
commando
quiet.
was.
You can't do that because you're not loud. And so I feel like it was a time when I was coaching and I went to do a job at F45 because I like F45. I was like, I'm going to do be a trainer there. And I did maybe a week, and they told me I needed to speak up, I needed to be louder, and I think that completely like
plays in the back of your
mind.
Came
back to me that I need to get out of here. I'm not loud. I'm too quiet. I need to go.
Yeah, I always have that thing as well when I find it really hard to stop and rest. And I remember when I was younger, like Mum would be like, "Why are you being lazy?" It was. Now I feel like I can never rest because that always plays in the back of my head. Yeah.
Resting is lazy.
Yeah. I saw that on Instagram the other night. I'm like, yeah, that really makes a lot of sense. That brings back a lot of things.
It's funny, isn't it? Like all these, the introvert thing, because it became part of my identity as well. People are always like, when are you going to come out of your shell? Why are you so quiet? And it's like, it does my head in now because it constantly fed into me that you're too quiet.
Yeah, whereas I'm the opposite. They're like, why are you always so loud? Do you know what I mean?
But it's funny, people
being
don't
told
ask
to
that,
stop
do they?
talking and
And that's what I want to say back to those people that were like, you need to come out of your shell. You're so quiet. It's like, you were so obnoxious and loud. That's what you're thinking. But I don't. Oh, yeah.
Imagine if we got all those people in a room and told them, look where we are now.
My mum she's a similar personality to me. She went out to a dinner with a bunch of people and a man, it was someone's husband, and he said to her, so have you always been an introvert? She didn't have any response or anything back to that. But, oh my God.
I didn't saying that
Have you always been a C-bomb? Like,
yeah. You know what I was thinking last night? We were watching that show on stage. Well, what if our podcast got that big?
Oh, God.
And we have,
and we went on stage.
I would freak out as well being on stage, but at the same time, they started off like this. They had a bit of a studio set up better, but do you know what I mean? He said how he went up to Ryan Shelton and had an idea, and now look where they are.
Yeah. The vulnerability stuff, which is really cool to hear.
I think they got into a very
niche
niche market that nobody was doing stuff in at that time when they began. Was it 2018, 2019 kind of thing?
No one used to openly, and they still don't. People are still very proud. They don't openly admit what they believe are their flaws, vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing when people do, and it almost it's something so alluring about someone who's very self-aware and can just be like, oh, I don't actually think I'm all that great. I do this, and this, and I struggle with this. And it's it's so nice to hear, I guess, other people that you think are super successful, and Ryan seems like the most confident person jumping around on stage, but who then has these thoughts as well.
That he's not good enough, and how he had turned down so many jobs because he didn't feel like he deserved to be there.
Well, we don't see that until he talks about it. Yeah.
Some of the guests I've had on have been really interesting. I do appreciate that show. It was a very good show. So if you're in another state and
Go see it.
yeah, it's not what you would expect, but
No, it's
really good.
entertaining. Then there was also some serious stuff and mindset stuff as well.
Yeah, it was really
And funny.
enlightening to improving your life.
Mm.
And also when Josh got up and sung that song, so he released a song in the week. We'll put it in the show notes because it's probably now one of my favourite songs. I'll have to show you the video as well. It's really well done. And he said when he was younger, he had a notebook passed around and everybody read what was in it, and it was song lyrics. And because of that, that's always played in his head that he can never write.
They made fun of his writing and passed it around, took the piss. And from that moment, he said, I'm never writing again because people will laugh at me.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Crazy. But yeah, good show.
Now it's time for PW and PB.
So, your month of PW and PB since you've missed a few.
I have missed 4 weeks of PW and PBs.
I've missed 4 weeks of missing you.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've missed you for 4 weeks.
But I do have some. I'll do one of each.
Okay.
Which I'll do first.
PW, because get the shit out of the way first.
PW, I keep getting headaches every damn day at the moment. And it's through my neck and my traps. And I don't know if it's because obviously I came from surgery and I went 0 to 100 with my training. And I'm sore and tight. Yeah. Or if it's like the stress, which could be a combination of both. Yeah. But yeah, I saw a Chinese acupuncturist yesterday for a remedial massage.
Any good?
Yeah, she was good, but I'm very tender today. And then she's going to do acupuncture as well. Hopefully I'll book in for next week. But yeah, the headaches, that's going to be my PW. And then also the medical stuff. So I've got another operation coming up, which is just to see if I've got endo, which is just another test of things. But yeah, it's going to require me to have more time off, more downtime away from training. And
I'm not letting her have time off the pod. She hasn't deserved her leave.
No, so I will have a week off work, fingers crossed, to like recover. And if anyone has some amazing Netflix series, I need a week's worth of Netflix.
Beckham.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to start that now though. Probably finish by then.
Yeah.
What's your PW?
Oh, you know what? It's actually how fast this year's gone. I feel like it's gone so quick. I feel like I haven't done anything to make it worth. Like I have, but just in my head. And you know what? Something weird. I think something else was not having you around for 4 weeks. I honestly thought our friendship was almost over. It's not. It wasn't. And I think
It's in your head again.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I think I have a fear of losing people, and it made me think a lot. And I don't know. I think I was worried
it was going to be permanent rather than a temporary.
Yeah. And I got really worried for a couple of weeks that part of it was worrying about you and knowing that you had a lot on in your life, and knowing that I couldn't do anything to help you at the time.
Yeah. And I think when I'm going through a lot and too much, I
block a lot of things out.
I completely go in my shell and hide and push everyone
But
away.
I know that you're like that. We've been friends for 5 years and I'm used to it. But I think it brought up a lot of old emotions knowing that people have been in and out of my life, and I was just really hoping you weren't the next one.
My brother used to say I was not because of my size, but an elephant. So this is more so when I was drinking and we'd get really drunk. And then I would just disappear because I'd get unwell. Yeah. And elephants, when they're going to die, they leave the herd and they go off to die somewhere else. Right. When I'm in bad, not having a good time, weird? I'm an elephant. I leave to go and die.
And I have an elephant on my ankle.
It's me.
You're on my ankle. You're not leaving me. Yeah, no, I obviously understand that you do that. And like I said, we've been friends for so long and we both do it. But I just think the fear came back of people coming in and out of my life.
Abandonment.
Yeah. And I was just worried it was going to happen again. it just brought up a lot of old emotions in the last couple of weeks, but we're all good. Good, you're back.
I'm here. I haven't gone off to die. I've come back. I've gone, oh, no, it's all good. I'm
You've
here now."
arisen from the dead.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was just interesting.
And I think, like, with relationships and, like, you go through different things and, like, challenges and, like, stuff, and then it's good and it's sort of, like, up and down.
I was like, I don't know if I can find any more co-hosts to keep filling in your seat.
Hot neighbour. New podcast host.
I don't know. It's just the thought that, like, you've just been around for so long, and a lot of my other friends I only really see a couple of times a year, even a lot less now, because, again, we're all in different life seasons where I'm just used to you being around.
When you're, when you change, like you said, life season, if you've got a lot of friends that are, like,
I'm in, like, the life
kids
season of not having... I have a few really good friends at the moment, but not... a
big circle.
Yeah, I don't have the big circle at the moment, and it kind of worries me that I don't. But I don't need a big circle because I don't have time to see them all.
I don't have a big circle, and
like some of my closest friends right now,
yeah,
we can message every day.
Yeah,
but I haven't actually seen one of my closest friends in maybe
time.
a year.
Yeah,
but we message every day to check on each other.
Yeah,
whereas you're like the main one.
Yeah, which
is interesting.
I don't message. Like, I've got probably 2 other close friends, but we don't, like,
message all the time
that much. Now and then we'll do a catch-up and be like, oh, my God, all of this stuff has happened. And then
whereas
a couple of months.
Us are, like, we're very on to everything that's happening.
I think we have similar interests.
Like, very much so, yeah.
It's not just fitness. Like, similar podcasts we listen to and things like that. So then we discuss those things, and I don't think my other 2 close friends are interested in the same sort of things that way.
And I feel like back to the seasons, we're in a very similar season too.
Yeah,
and we have been for a couple of years.
We're like 10 years apart. Sometimes I think I'm very behind, but then it's
I sometimes think I'm very forward.
Yeah.
So we meet each other at the 30 level.
Yeah. You're definitely. I think you've said you've always had friends who are older.
Yeah, which is strange as well. Like, you're probably one of my youngest friends at the moment. Well, yeah, actually you are. But like, I have friends my age from school, but we really only catch up for events when it's like each other's birthdays and
and I think other people who are like 36, 37, which is my age now, are very different life stages. Like, a lot of them would probably have kids who are 5, 6, you know.
We have dogs who are the same age.
Yeah.
A day apart, actually.
And, I just feel like we kind of have met somewhere, regardless of the actual number of age.
We met at the same season. We were going through the same year, and it was very lucky that I applied for that job.
Yep.
Okay, on to Trotta time.
We haven't done PB.
Well, thanks for being my best friend, and you're not running away, and I'm not losing somebody, so we're good.
So we're up to PBs now.
What was your PB of the week?
Okay, my PB... No, that's my
that everybody voted no.
My PB of the week, or last week, would be finally after a year... I have completed my Pilates instructor course, but I probably don't plan to use.
Well, I'll come and use your reformer.
I'd probably do one-on-one or but
just don't put the green spring on.
Don't put the extra springs on. No, it's just one of those things that I needed to just tick off, and it was like, oh, I started this.
Yep.
I felt like I needed to complete. And I did it. I have my certificate, and the
I'm
postie bent it and put the thing in the letterbox and bent it.
Rude.
Yeah. Stupid postie.
You just put it between 2 big books and it will flatten it out.
This is what Alexis said. He said you apply a little bit of heat and then you put it under some big books. He's like, I know how to do it. I was like, all right, I'll leave it here for you then. It's still sitting there.
This is why you have us in your life.
Yeah.
We sort you out.
And what is your PB of the week that has been?
Can I have a couple?
Okay. You always ask me for a couple.
Well, you haven't been here for a month, so I haven't been able to ask you. I should have 4 now to catch up on every week you haven't asked me. I think, you know what, last night, spending time together,
Yep.
after what's been going through our head.
Yep.
I really valued that, and that was really good.
Yep.
Ending up last night picking up my brother from town, and
Yep.
I dropped him home, and that was kind of nice to sit and have a nice chat with him. He's at that age where, well, we have, again, very different life seasons, but we sat in the car for about 40 minutes having a good
Nice.
chat to each other.
Bit of bonding.
Yeah, it's the only time we don't fight when nobody else is around. This season, well, this time of year is boot camp. Oh, we just got a couple of new members out. I was out there Wednesday night and
Fresh blood.
Saturday morning. You know what? And just having a big group back out again makes me
Yeah.
like smile. It's
Yeah.
just like, this is amazing. Getting a whole lot of people fit together.
Mm-hmm.
That was another good one. You know what? This podcast, and that we're getting comments coming back at the moment being like, stuff that we're talking about on the last 11 episodes is really helping people.
Oh,
It's another
good.
PB.
That's nice.
Yeah, somebody came on today on our Instagram page and said it was a really good listen. And after having Nathan on last week, I got a few DMs and he got heaps flooding in saying it was nice to have him say his story.
Yeah,
And
cool.
yeah, a few people have really liked what we're talking about. It really makes the hours of putting
Work,
this together
yeah.
and the 5 to 6 hours editing all worth it.
Yeah,
Like I'm actually really enjoying
that's a
it.
positive.
Would like a sponsor soon to pay us, but
And maybe someone shoot me some DMs to tell me how good we're doing because no one tells me shit.
well, you haven't fucking been here for 4 weeks.
No one says anything. Just keep quiet.
Well, maybe if you actually came on the pod.
Hey, settle down.
I had to cut that out.
No, you keep it there. Keep it there.
Okay.
Recos,
Woo,
which we
back to
didn't-
Reco
never had a
time.
name for, but
It's Reco time.
okay.
What's your Reco of the week?
I've got it here. So I've recently signed up for this course online with Alexis Fernandez
I just
from the Do You Fucking Mind podcast.
yeah.
And the course is a 6-week online course and it's called Design Your 2.0 Self. So it's learning how to set your goals up and so that you actually achieve them, identify and step away from what's not working for you, how to bring the life and experience of people you want, stand up for yourself, set boundaries, transform relationships, confidence, all the things.
Good.
So the first week has been about circuitry and rewiring your brain because we're often on this constant loop of thinking the same thing. And so,
Like I was just saying about
yeah,
the constant loop of
Yeah.
feeling like people are coming in and out of your life.
yeah. And so you write down certain things that you want to change and it's about cutting the dead weight. So there's a list of like people, beliefs, things you identify with, certain list of things you cannot take
Yep.
into your new life. So it's really getting deep and you in the morning you're supposed to write down what are your thoughts first in the morning and then how you're going to rewire them and change them. So it's a really like transformative course to change yourself so you can actually do the things that you want to and change yourself as a person of all those like limiting beliefs and things that have been getting in the way of yourself.
Yeah.
Because I sort of think back, I have the same challenges, the same beliefs, the same things that come up because it's an internal belief around myself and what I can achieve and what my limits are.
So yeah, that's so interesting. I always say that word at the moment, but no, it really is. Like when you start going in deeper internally and
Yeah.
sorting out things, it's so nice to release and move forward.
Yeah. And it's because she has studied neuroscience as well. There's a lot of these like airy-fairy courses online that don't actually have
She's
the
one of the
science
legit
behind it.
ones.
Yeah, she knows stuff. So she's
knows
got
her
the
shit.
science behind it. It's psychology and neuroscience. So you've got to understand like the chemicals, neurotransmitters, all of the like wiring of the brain, the neuroscience stuff.
Yep.
And then the behavioral stuff of psychology. And it's like pieced together. She shares it in a easy to understand format of videos. She does a Facebook Live each week. If you are people that want to do this course as well, like I said, it's a 6-week course. You can take 12 weeks, 24 weeks, but it's self-paced. So you can do it at any time. But that's my recommendation of the week.
Nice. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes. What's yours?
I have two.
Sure.
This week I listened some of the podcasts we listen to at the moment. I'm trying to like they're great, but they're not as good as what they used to be. So I'm trying to like put new podcasts into my weekly listening because I listen to them so much at work. I needed some more to fill
New
in the
things.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, just something, different categories and different things to listen to. So I was listening to The Diary of a CEO.
Yes, I love him.
I only just
Stephen
started.
Bartlett. I watch him on YouTube as well.
Yeah?
I love his stuff and his content, and
Yep. Well, I've only just started. You know, on Spotify, if you listen on on your computer, you can get the video up now too.
yeah,
And you just learned that this week. Anyway, here's one with the Airbnb CEO this week was so interesting. I like aligned with him a lot, and he was saying how some of the biggest and best entrepreneurs in the world actually have a design degree behind them. I said, well, I'm halfway there.
He was the one that the AI guy that I sent. I was like,
Yeah.
we're all doomed. AI is going to be completely change our world.
Yeah, but no, very interesting where he came from, and he was saying how he let staff go through COVID, and the way they did that was very smart. They looked after them. Then he went out to other CEOs in companies that weren't so affected and tried to get all the people he was like not sacking, but like letting off to go, and he went and found them new places to go. Just interesting how that and culture of a company can really make or break the company. They were talking about how to set up a good culture within a company. Very interesting. Number 2, we've already spoken about this, but the Beckham documentary. Oh my God, that is the greatest 4 hours documentary I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to call it now.
How many episodes?
4 episodes?
4
hour each.
Yep.
It goes, I'm not going to tell you too much, but you need to go and watch it. But it's about his whole football career from when he started all the way to where he retired and where he is now. You don't have to be into football to watch it because Victoria Beckham doesn't like football either, apparently. But it's just nice to see somebody who went through such an amazing career so down to earth. And he talked about all the highs and lows and lots of the stuff he was talking about. I obviously aren't old enough to remember, but yeah, a lot of his defining moments were quite shocking, but they talked about how he bounced back and moved forward.
And I guess Victoria Beckham, it's probably...
You know what was her Victoria Adams before she was a Beckham? I never knew her original name.
I can't even remember when she was Spice Girls, but she's always had that
Posh Spice.
very like out of touch kind of persona, which I mean they've probably done this documentary to rebrand her in a way. And it's been
she's
strategic
so nice
in that sense.
Yeah, I think she almost needed that in this time
Rebrand.
in her life to kind of be like, I'm not the bitch you all thought I was.
Yeah, I'm not so out of touch and this stuff.
Yeah, she was very relatable in the stuff she was saying.
And she went through, they went through their
A lot.
Rebecca Lou's, that whole scandal. Did they talk about that?
They very briefly skimmed over it, didn't say much about it, but you knew when it was.
Yeah.
They had like a huddled together reset. And
I remember that.
I don't remember any of that.
I remember it being in magazines and things.
But pre-warning, he is very attractive when he's young. Shaved his head, loses about 10% attractiveness, and then he gets 110% better as he gets older.
It used to be people would say he's super attractive until he opens his mouth because of his accent.
No, I don't mind his accent. That adds to the
charm.
Oh, Beckham. What was it? Oh,
who, David?
You, David. So,
funny.
I'm glad you're back.
Yes.
How'd you feel?
Good. I'm glad to be back and have a chat and
We
catch
haven't
up.
lost you.
I like episodes like this where it's just
We
a
did it
general
very
chat.
loosely.
It's very authentic.
We needed to
It's not
catch up.
scripted.
Yeah.
No scripts whatsoever here.
We started going on the tangent about this in the car last night on the way home. We almost started recording then because the stuff that we were saying was very valuable. I tried to remember it all.
Yeah, and it was kind of raw.
The reason why we started this, because of those conversations in the car.
Yeah, and when we sort of discuss topics to come up with, and when it's a topic that we have to research and read things and script.
I just don't feel as confident talking about that kind of stuff. And
no, that's probably some of the imposter syndrome from us going, who am I to talk about this?
On our little pod with big muscles. But we've
and
got people listening apparently, so.
And we've kind of we rebranded, so.
Oh yeah, that happened.
We have to talk about that.
Jenna came back after 4 weeks and thought, we are no longer pink.
Yeah, I was shifting the dead weight from my course. The
Yep.
rechange. This is
I'm
the
not
new
mad
us.
about it.
This is the 2.0.
Well, we figured that our audience became 60% women and 40-ish
Yeah.
percent men.
Yeah.
It was a bit ish on both sides. But
Yeah.
it was more, we have more men listening than we ever anticipated.
Yeah. I
Which
wanted
is great.
it to
I'm
be,
not mad about it.
I guess, more gender neutral. The pink
Yeah.
is very, not to say men can't wear pink, but it
It was
still
just
has
so
that
hard to
feminine
work with.
connotation. Pink, it was almost a little bit juvenile.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be a bit more professional, a bit more
Mature.
mature.
Like a fine
And-
wine. No, you know what's mature? Truffle. Or caviar. They're black.
What's that?
We've upgraded
What's that beef?
from the strawberry milk.
Beef. What's the raw beef meal called?
Tartar?
Yes. Yes, that's very mature.
Yep. We're going up in the world. After we start the TWLP, find Ella a husband.
But yeah, so, and I think we have evolved, and I think Joe said this, is you'll find your place. Like when we started, we didn't really know who, and it's still going to change as we go along. But
Correct,
our
yeah.
types of guests that we have had on have been very much into sports or athletes at some point.
They still had the trainer background, which was where we wanted to start. But isn't it crazy to see how also the audio has changed? But
Yeah.
I remember our first couple of episodes, I was literally sitting here shaking the whole time. Like, I don't know what it was, but I was so nervous coming in, whereas now we can sit still
Yeah.
and eat chocolate Freddos.
And I think we talk a lot about wellness and mindset and stuff like that because I'm not an athlete, never been an athlete, not really particularly interested
I was
in
a
sport.
wannabe athlete. It's never happened. Although, talking about that, so as we were talking about last week, Kona, the triathlon world championships for women was on this morning. Some of the elite ones in there were late 30s. One of the top 5 ladies, I think she was 40. I said, still got time.
Yeah, yeah.
I could make it to Hawaii one day.
Yeah, yeah, do it. I
Yeah.
will do I was going to do the running part of your triathlon. We were going to do
One day.
a duo.
Yep, so I don't get a migraine.
What's the other thing? The bike. Yeah,
I can ride.
you can bike and swim and I'll run.
She'll finish us off.
Run's good for me. I can't take my dog.
He'll be at the end watching. Anyway, good up. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for not leaving my life.
Yes, thank you for having me back and not getting the shits on when I've been a difficult person and retreated and been an elephant.
Like I say, the elephant's on my ankle and you'll always be around.
I'll always be back. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good week and see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.